Welcome to the Joyfully Homeschooling Podcast
with our mom,
Misty Bailey. Tips and encouragement
for
real life homeschooling
is headed your way.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Joyfully Homeschooling Podcast. I am Misty Bailey, blogger at Joy in the Journey and podcaster here at Joyfully Homeschooling. And today's episode is going to be something I've never really done before, but I thought it would be super fun. So I am bringing back on my real life friend, Davonne Parks. How are you, Davonne?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be back.
I am so excited too. So she and I are actually recording 2 episodes today. So she's going to be like an honorary guest host or something. You're going to hear from her more often every now and then as our schedules permit. But today, she and I are actually just going to talk about what's working and what's not working in our homeschools. And you were introduced to Davonne in episode 69. But real quick, Davonne, can you introduce yourself to everybody again before we dive into this informal catch-up?
Sure. I am Davonne Parks. I blog at davonneparks.com, and I'm a second-generation homeschool mom, so I was a homeschool graduate myself. Now on the 11th year of homeschooling my 2 girls. They are in 9th grade and 5th grade. My husband and I also own a computer service company in our area, so I do that as well. I work outside the home.
So how am I starting my 10th year and you're starting your 11th year?
Because I started at the beginning of preschool and you started halfway through.
Oh, yeah.
The preschool year, and I do.
That's right. Because I did like 2 half years, like where we sent Allison to school in September, pulled her out over Christmas break 2 years in a row, and the second time she just never went back. I had attachment issues. I was kind of dealing with that whole burden of like, am I going to homeschool? Am I not going to homeschool? Is Roger going to let me? Is he not going to let me? So, okay. I was like, how did you get a year ahead of me?
Because I count my first year. That 4-year-old, that was kind of rough.
That's crazy. So, Davonne, so we kind of talked in episode 69 about some of the ways that we've changed since we started homeschooling and how this is our first year kind of both of us officially homeschooling high school. So I thought it would be kind of fun since you and I, we never actually get time to talk anymore, ever outside of like random text. So I thought it would just be kind of fun to talk about what's working, what's not working as we started homeschooling high school and having multiple ages and kids. So how is your school year going? We're like, what, a month in or something? How's it going?
Yes, I think this is actually my favorite year so far. I'm really, really enjoying it.
Really? So why? Why are you enjoying it?
Well, I think a lot of it goes back to what we talked about in episode 69, where I talked about those 4 crazy years with 2 years working outside the home full time, followed by renovating an office, followed by renovating our house. And those 4 years were just insane. But before that, I was so rigid and wanting to do everything perfectly. And then when that happened, I realized I can't do everything perfectly, and it's okay. So I now have that freedom of knowing it's okay to be imperfect, and also the schedule that's not completely insane. So combining those 2 has just been such a joy so far this year.
So I shared earlier in the podcast, like what we were using for homeschool this year. And I think you kind of know for the most part what I'm using, but what are you using? So what are you guys using this year?
For just high school or both girls?
Both girls.
Okay, so Lily is doing Not Grass, Exploring America for high school, which she's really enjoying. Actually, my mom recently got that book, and she's planning on reading along with Lily so they can talk about it.
Oh, that's super fun.
Yeah, that's really fun. I want to listen on audio, but I haven't started yet, so hopefully I'll catch up. But yeah, so she's doing Exploring America. We are letting that count for her English, history, and Bible. But she also does a lot of reading and other things for English, and for Bible, when she's in Bible class, we do Lads to Leaders, which is a program our church has where she does Bible Bowl and all kinds of other things like that. So she's doing a lot on her own with that. And then for math, we're using Saxon. She's in Algebra 2 this year.
Mm-hmm.
and she does Nicole the Math Lady. Do you know about her?
I do. I've heard of her, which we're using Mr. D, and I'm going to have to go back to that. So why are you doing Algebra 2 instead of geometry? They had us do geometry with Mr. D, and Allison is like, she's really struggling a lot.
Okay, well, I let Lily pick if she wanted to do Algebra 2 or geometry, and I believe Nicole the Math Lady didn't have the geometry program done yet.
Oh, okay.
So that heavily influenced her decision to do Algebra 2 because she loves Nicole the Math Lady. It was like, I want to say it was $50 for 12 months, and she goes through every single lesson in the entire book. So
Yeah, I don't want to talk about what I'm paying.
Now, these are not live classes. It's like, recorded video, so she doesn't have that live class or tutor. But yeah, for $50 just to get her somebody who can help her with math has just been really awesome.
Yeah. Okay, and then you're doing biology, right? Apology of biology? No, you're not.
No, what are we doing? She is doing Apology of Physical Science this year.
Oh, Allison did that last year.
Yeah, she's not quite right. That was one of those things where the working and the renovating craziness just kind of put that behind the year, but it's all right. So she did general science then last year and biology. I think general science kind of stretched out for 2 years, 7th and 8th, and then physical science in 9th. So yeah, she'll do biology in 10th.
Okay. Yeah. So, and Grace is doing America the Beautiful too. She's doing America the Beautiful from Knotgrass. And what else is she doing?
Well, we're still a little on the fence about her history because I want to do
we're supposed to do a history project day with Knotgrass.
Project day. I know, but she loves Mystery of History so much. She's like, Mom, I don't want to do anything else. So I'm still not sure if I'm going to have her, like, I'm against having them do both now. I used to just be like, okay, we'll do both, but I've kind of backed off of that a little bit. So right now she's doing volume 3 of Mystery of History.
So you're going to ruin our plans of monthly Knotgrass History Project.
Well, she can still do the project.
So what's Grace doing for science?
Okay, science is Apologia. We love Apologia. I know you guys introduced us to that years ago, and you kept telling me, Davonne, you should try Apologia. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Our science.
Totally not a paid plug, by the way, for none of
No, this is not. And then I tried it, and I'm like, why didn't we switch to Apologia? But yeah, so she's doing, I think, sea creatures this year.
Oh, that's fun. Daniel's doing like a little bit of both. Like we're kind of spreading out all of his, I'm kind of letting him pick and choose. So we just did a lesson on seals from Swimming Creatures, and like we're just randomly, hey, what do you want to do? And we've got all the books, so we're just kind of picking and choosing as he's interested what he's doing. But Swimming Creatures was so fun. I feel like it's been forever since we did Swimming Creatures.
That's very cool. See, Lily's jealous because she didn't get to do Apologia for any of this. She started in at the middle school general science.
Oh, and you should say, well, I should have listened to Misty sooner, Lily. This is why you always listen to Misty.
What I actually tell her is, I'm sorry, you're the pig.
The guinea pig. That's so true. So, was there anything else that you wanted to add that you guys are using?
Let's see. I don't really think so. Like with Grace, we do lessons for a living math for math, but we are currently reviewing some concepts because there are some foundational things that I think she kind of missed along the way. So we're working on just not going through the book of the lesson, but I had her take an assessment test. So everything that she's kind of been struggling with, like each concept, we're hitting that individually before we get back to the textbook.
Gotcha. So that's fun. I've never heard of that program.
The Living Math?
No, I've never heard of that.
It's really fun. They have these stories. Let's see, Charlie and Charlotte, maybe. They're twins. They're twin boy and girl, and their parents are missionaries. So it starts out in first grade. They go visit their grandparents' farm while their parents are on this mission trip, and they help count sheep or gather eggs, and they count the eggs. So it's a very basic addition in first grade. So you have the story is your first day of every week, and then every day you practice math based on the concepts that you learned in the story. So then as they got older, they got to go on these mission trips, and they had to multiply, like, okay, we have so many bunks per room. How many sheet sets do we need total? And then they're learning multiplication in that. So it was really awesome because before that, Grace was like, well, why do I need to know this? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then after that, she's seeing, oh, well, this is why I need to know this. It applies to life. So
unlike algebra.
yeah. Oh yeah, I know. I try to, Lily doesn't believe me.
That's so cool. I hadn't heard of that. Okay. So, I wanted to share a few things. I figured we'd go through like what's working, what's not working. So, I'm going to start, and like, you just feel free to interrupt me or talk as we go through it. So one thing that's working for us, but that's also not working, is Mr. D math. And okay. So here's the thing. I love Mr. D. Like, Allison absolutely loved him last year for algebra. Like, he really made things so easy for her because we pay for the live classes. So that's where the cost comes in. So like, we pay, it's not bad, the price you pay up front. You can get in for like $97 for the year, which isn't bad. And if you do that, you just do like the recorded videos. But she really wanted the live classes. So we paid for that, and it's helped because she can email him anytime. And she feels more accountable. So Kristen wanted to do Mr. D this year too. So I've got 2 kids in the live math classes. And we pay a fee every month, which it's worth it. But like, when you add in 2 kids, I'm like, oh my goodness. So we're doing that, and Allison's really, really struggling with geometry. Like, this year, she's really struggling. But so Mr. D's working. Like, I like the math part, but what's not working is the live class part, because she's also taking a live Spanish class. So we are tied. Yeah. So we are tied down right now 5 to 6 hours a week with live classes.
And we're spoiled. We're not used to that.
Yeah. And so like, Allison's Spanish class is Mondays and Wednesdays. So Mondays and Wednesdays are out. We can't do like anything Monday and Wednesday mornings. They're completely out because she's got the Spanish class. And then we're tied down to 2 classes on Tuesdays with Mr. D. And then every other Friday we have co-op. So where's our flexibility with homeschooling? Like, we don't have it right now.
That is what I have noticed this year more than anything else, is that there's less flexibility because of school stuff.
Yes, with high school, you've got 5 days worth of work. Like,
yeah.
5 days. And I've always done a 4-day week, and we have 5 days. So we have to do it. So yes.
Yeah, we used to take every Friday off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can't do that. Like, we're taking off Fridays, every other Friday for co-op, which I feel like is very beneficial. A lot of times, once kids get into high school, they drop out of co-op. And I don't want to do that, because we're trying to really get this high school group built up to where when Allison graduates, we can have like a regular graduation and that sort of stuff. And these kids have been together since preschool, but she's still having to get in her work. All these high school programs are wrote out for 5 days. And when you add in the live classes, our flexibility is gone, completely gone. And so that's not working for me right now.
Yeah. Now I do want to put in a plug for Knotgrass right there though, because a school year is 180 days, but Knotgrass only has 150 lessons for that purpose.
Well, I love Knotgrass, and I introduced you to Knotgrass too. So
yes, you did.
You're welcome. But here's where I'm going to admit something. We've never finished a Knotgrass volume until last year. No, we never finished.
Congratulations on last year.
Yes, Uncle Sam and you, we finished. We've never finished because we always took those Fridays off. And so then we would always end up behind. Not behind. I don't ever want to say the word like behind.
Yes, I agree.
My rule has always been 80%. So if we finished 80%, I counted it. But last year was our first year finishing Knotgrass, even with the 150 days. We've never finished an Apology of Science book either with Allison. Kristen's always finished them. Allison's never finished them.
Okay, see, we finish all the lessons in every book, but we don't do all the activities.
I think we should have a moment of silence. But Davonne finishes every textbook. So good.
I know what my kids do.
So you've got 2 complete ends of the spectrum here. No, but we
you
do
do all the activities. You know, like you're the project mom.
I'm not the project mom, but like my kids love the projects.
See, there you go. No, I don't. No, I'm not the project person.
You used to be more project-y.
I used to be, and it
project
was
is not a word. Don't correct my grammar. So Another thing that's working for us is morning time. Like,
yes, I love morning time.
listen, why did we not do morning time for like the longest time? Like, I did this circle time, loved it, and then had a hard time transitioning into older kids. But last year and this year, we love morning time. It is our favorite part of the day. And I thank Pam Barnhill for part of that. Because she really, I don't know, I started like listening to her podcast and talking about morning time and fell in love with it. And it is absolutely our favorite part of the day right now. We're doing American history for morning time. So we're using Hoopla. I don't know if you've heard about that. We can go back to that. But we're using the Hoopla app for audiobooks and listening to Daniel Boone. And we're listening to American history, the YWAM biographies this year, and playing some American history games, state games. Absolutely loving morning time. So that's another thing that's really working for us.
Very cool. See, I think our morning time is different than yours.
Okay. What do you do?
We kind of have a no core curriculum rule. It is just a time to do things together. So we do our Bible reading then. I told you the girls were in Bible Bowl, so we're doing our Bible reading for that. And then we're reading some books that we just want to read. Like we have a fiction novel. I cannot remember the author, but there's this book called The Girl Who Drew Butterflies.
I've not heard of that.
It is so good. She was like 13 years old. It was in the 1600s, back whenever that was considered witchcraft, and she could have been burned at the stakes for it.
Really?
And, yeah, but she was this artist scientist person, and she's one of the people who discovered that butterflies and bugs don't just spontaneously what's that word?
Metamorphosis? Metamorphosize?
Like, why are we called homeschool moms, Missy? Spontaneously, like where they're spontaneously just show up. Like, you know, they have to
combust. I don't know.
No. Generate,
whatever. Anyway, okay, I've got that down. We'll leave a link to that in the show notes.
Yes. So anyway, so we're just doing kind of fun stuff with our morning time. And my purpose of that is because I've tried it before and failed, but it also felt a little bit like a chore to me. So I've wanted it to be something special. And it has been great. I will say you're totally motivating me because we went camping last week and then fell off the bandwagon with morning time. So now I'm like, all right, we're starting it back up because it is just really, really sweet. And I love that my 9th grader wants to do morning time.
Yeah, and we started, and that's Allison's stinking live classes interfere with our morning time Mondays and Wednesdays because like she has to be off the table and into her stinking live class. Stupid Spanish. But we did something else really cool with morning time is we started these prayer journals, and like I took the kids to Walmart and let them just pick out any notebook. I did admit it had to be $2 or less, but any notebook that was $2 or less, because Allison picked out like an $8 notebook. She's like you and collects notebooks.
I do that.
And so funny story, side note to this, with the notebooks, the notebook I'm using for my prayer journal time is a notebook that you got me for my birthday like 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
It's the purple one with the little rubber bandy thing on it. So I didn't have to buy a new notebook because I still
you're welcome.
But we're every morning while we're listening to our Daniel Boone, we're like taking time to write or draw in our prayer notebooks something we're thankful for and something that's bothering us or something we want to pray about. And then that generates some discussion. They don't have to share it, but if they want to share it, then they can. But I'm hoping to kind of cultivate into them a spirit of gratitude. So that's something that we added to our morning time that I really, really like. So I'm loving morning time.
Very cool. Okay, so we have a couple things.
Yeah.
Audiobooks. You were saying you do that at breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
We do audiobooks in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is just, since we moved out a little bit, it's really nice. So we get a lot of reading time in the car on the way to and from work or activities. They do schoolwork in the car sometimes, but mostly just audiobooks. Another thing that works for us is we've started this like family share night. So on Thursdays, we've actually only done it once. We said we're going to do it weekly, but maybe it's going to be monthly.
And that's okay.
Yeah, that's totally okay. I think I'll just take that pressure off myself right now. But the girls pick something that they've been learning in school or a project that they've worked on, and they share it with the family.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, that was really fun the one night we did it. But it was purposeful, though, because it did feel like in the 4 years of craziness, we really didn't honor our kids' work much. Like they just did it and we moved on. We did what we had to do to survive. And so that's something that I really kind of wanted to try to redeem a little bit and show them that their work matters, that we care about it. Just take the time to really appreciate the things that they have been doing and learning in their schools. So family share night has been really, really fun. It makes me want to go ahead and do it tonight because we had said Thursday was going to be our night and today's Thursday.
So what did they share last time?
Lily had made a poster. She shared most of her, actually, I think all of her Not Grass projects, because where they do the one project a week.
Mm-hmm.
She made a poster. She cooked dinner that night for her history project. That was fun.
Oh, was that with Uncle Sam?
No, that's with Exploring America.
Oh, yeah. We've not done any of our Exploring the America projects yet.
That's okay.
Thanks. Thanks for taking that pressure off.
Yeah, and then she drew a map of the original colonies. And that was crazy because Massachusetts was huge.
Really?
Like, I had no idea. I'm pretty sure it was Massachusetts. But yeah, anyways, it was like enormous, like up where Michigan is or something. I was like, what the world?
Huh.
I don't remember that in school. But yeah, so she did that. And then Grace, of course, was 100% all about her animal science book. That's the only thing she talked about.
Yeah, she's going to love it when Kristen gets a horse here at my house.
Oh my goodness, is Kristen getting a horse?
Listen, we'll have to talk about that off the podcast.
But Grace wants a horse so bad.
Yeah, we may have a horse soon. But
We don't have a barn.
Podcast sponsors make the Joyfully Homeschooling podcast possible. So let's take a moment and thank our current sponsor, Masterpiece Society. Don't just expose your kids to art, let them experience it. Charlotte Mason wrote, "The art training of children should proceed on two lines. The child should begin both to express himself creatively and learn to appreciate art. Masterpiece Society is here to help you with both art expression and art appreciation. By utilizing our rich multimedia art lessons and our Open and Go art appreciation curriculum, you will create meaningful art experiences with your kids and teens. We have completed a few lessons from the Masterpiece Society over the last few weeks and have really enjoyed what we have completed so far. They make bringing art, beauty, and creativity into our home a painless process, which is perfect for this busy homeschool mom who cringes at the thought of arts and crafts. Don't believe me? Try it out yourself for free. Go to findingjoyinthejourney.net/Masterpiece Society to get your free lesson delivered straight to your inbox. That is findingjoyinthejourney.net/Masterpiece Society to get your free lesson delivered straight to your inbox. Now, let's get on with the podcast.
okay, so what is not? Oh, I want to share one more thing that is working.
Okay.
And this is something we talked about via text. Google Calendar is saving my life.
That's
Listen,
on my not working list.
We've got to talk about this. So,
I know.
Google Calendar is phenomenal. Like, I've got my color-coded calendar. Allison's got the app. Roger's got the app. Roger types in stuff when it works. When he actually remembers to do it, it's working amazingly. I am loving Google Calendar. And if I was Crystal Payne, I would say that it is saving my life right now. Gonna throw that plug in there for Crystal Payne's podcast, Saving My Life, Google Calendar. Why are you hating it?
Well, the problem is that we don't use a calendar.
I know that is a major problem. You need to fix that.
I know. So we need Google Calendar, apparently. So Nathan has his calendar for work. Then he puts his whole life in that thing. Lily has a paper calendar that she makes by hand. She uses a notebook and pens that's just blank stuff and draws this beautiful, beautiful calendar. The problem is when I need to plan something, I have to check with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lily has to have her calendar with her, and it gets really complicated. So I think we need to try this Google Calendar and maybe see if we can all get it together, which brings me to my second thing that's not working, and I don't want Lily to hear, is she doesn't have a phone, and it's kind of getting to be obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have a way to put things in her Google Calendar. If people want to contact her, they have to go through me, and it's just taking a lot of my time. Now that she's in high school and has more of that, I don't want to spend my time doing that for her.
Hey, Mom, it's time to give her a phone.
No, I know. It's in discussion. She wrote us a list of why she thinks she should have one, and I wrote her back a list of these are the things you need to do, and after you do them for 30 days, we'll talk again. So she's on day 3, I think, of the 30.
Well, with the phone, like we were against, you and I've had this discussion numerous times when the girls were younger, and I gave both my girls have a phone. Kristen will be 13 in December, and Allison's going to turn 15. And Allison's had a phone since she was 12, and Kristen got one last year for her 12th birthday. But you can set limits on it. Like you can set, and I think I want to get Leah Neiman on the podcast and talk about kids and cell phones, because I know there's stuff I'm missing. But Kristen is limited to apps. So like she has to type in like I have to type in her screen time passcode to get apps, and we limit it. Like she's only allowed so much time a day. Because we're iPhone users. You're not, but that's a whole other podcast. But with the iPhones, the screen time is really, really helpful. So we can plug that in, and we've got our safety features, but she does not have the Google Calendar because she's not allowed to add anything to the calendar without talking to me.
Okay.
Allison has free access to the calendar because she's in sports, she's busier, she's got a lot of things going on. And if she's away from me and needs to plan something, she can check her calendar and be like, okay, I can't go to practice this day, or I need somebody to drive me this day. So yeah, Google Calendar is really, really helpful.
That's a good level of responsibility too for her, just to have to plan and manage and consider everybody's schedule.
Well, she was planning things. Last year we noticed when she started her babysitting job, getting kids off the bus, she would not think and plan things. And I'd be like, hey, Allison, you have to babysit. Oh yeah, I forgot. My calendar wasn't with me. I forgot. And so then she'd have to backtrack. So we have her babysitting schedule and everything in there. So it's really quick and really, really helpful. And like I said, we color code. So you can look at it and see what color. Right now hers is the busiest. So that's high school is just so busy.
Yeah, Lily's is really busy between Beta Club, and she's teaching, or she's an assistant teacher at our church's preschool program on Fridays. And then we've got the monthly thing, you coming up with history projects. And then there's another friend she's getting together with twice a month for American Sign Language and Fine Arts.
Oh, sign language. Are you counting your sign language as her foreign language?
Yes.
Kristen wants to do that. And I've noticed that some colleges accept it and some colleges don't.
Really?
So I have to contact the colleges she's interested in right now in 7th grade. I'm not doing it right now, but to see if they'll count it. But some do and some don't, I've heard. But that's what she wants to do is sign language.
That's good to know. So I think Lily's only got one school that she's interested in right now. So that'll take me like 3 minutes.
Allison's got a list and Kristen's got a list, and all Kristens are in Kentucky, and they're all around Kentucky Horse Park and Lexington.
Of course.
That's why.
Would you expect anything else?
But I will say all of those horses, all of those colleges she's found out will let her take her horse, if she gets a horse, to college with her and be boarded.
That's funny.
Yep.
Okay, so I did want to mention one other thing that is working for us before we move on to more of the not working.
Yeah.
Finishing textbooks, which we touched on very briefly. But for us, I want to talk about that for a minute, because as a working mom, my kids do not have as much oversight as maybe some other kids do. So what ends up happening is I don't have time to do all the experiments, all the projects. If they want to, that is totally fine, but that's up to them. They have to write out the supply list. I'll make sure they have the supplies, and then they do it. They clean it up. That's their deal. But the finishing the textbooks works really, really, really well, because what happens is once their textbook is done, they are done for the year.
Yeah.
So like mystery of history, you only do 3 lessons a week. If Grace does it every day, it's very likely. I mean, there have been years where they've finished history in February. It generally, everything is done for the year, February, March, and except for math. Math is always the last thing they finish. But then after that, they have so much more free time to do like living books and the fun projects that they didn't have time for whenever they were doing other things. So it allows a lot of flexibility, and it helps them take ownership of their schedule and not hate it, because they're not just like, okay, well, mom's forcing me to do the schedule. They have to kind of take charge and figure out how to manage their time well enough to get it all done by the end of the school year.
Well, and your kids are really good too about just like taking a day and reading a week's worth of lessons.
They really are. I don't know how much they're absorbing at that point.
I remember Lily read like the whole America the Beautiful textbook for fun. the first year we did it. Like
That's right.
she did it. She read it for fun.
Yeah, she did. You're talking about Lily, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lily totally did. She just wanted to read it because she enjoyed it, and so she read the entire book.
Yeah. And that's a good point. So that's something I think that's working well for both of us too, is because of the groundwork we did with our kids at younger ages, now in high school, they're pretty well self-sufficient.
Yes. They take ownership of their own stuff, and that saves a tremendous amount of time. I think that's part of the reason that we can enjoy this time and that we're not totally stressed out, because I feel like I'm not really Lily's teacher. I'm more of the school administrator.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And I don't know that we would have had that had we not been, had we been the psychotic moms we were in the beginning of homeschooling. If that would have stayed the same, we would not be enjoying high school right now. I am enjoying high school. I am thoroughly enjoying homeschooling high school. It's awesome having teenagers and having them be self-sufficient and watching them grow and learn. I'm really enjoying it a lot.
I will say, yeah, it is so much fun. Like, I remember when my kids were small and I was so worried about them getting older because everyone says, oh, you're going to miss it. Enjoy this time. Savor every minute. And I'm like, I'm so tired. I was up at 2 and then 3 and then 4 in the morning. Like, how in the world can you savor that? But I better, or else I'm going to regret it. But really, like, this big kid stuff is so great. Like, they can get their own snacks. They can help cook family dinners. They do chores. Like, it's fantastic. I do not even, I mean, sometimes I miss them a little, but overall, love these older kid years. It is so fun.
I don't clean my house anymore.
I don't clean mine either.
I remember whenever you did said that years ago, and I'm like, I'm not there yet. I don't clean my house anymore. My kids do it.
Yeah. That's what their chore list. They're on rotating chores. They take turns. One girl does the kitchen one week, and she does the living room the next week, and they rotate the entire house. I clean like my bathroom and bedroom, and that's it.
It's awesome. Do you have anything else that you want to share that's working or not working before we hop off here?
I don't think I do at the, we actually touched on everything, because my two big things that were not working were the calendars and the no cell phone. So I'm just going to check that off my list.
So you're going to get Lily a cell phone to your to-do list.
Well, she's going to see me in 30 days.
30 days. So we'll have to do another episode. This episode,
yeah, I will like
November. We'll have to do an episode after Christmas, maybe.
I'll have to let you know if this is working or not. I know. I feel like we're just such babies at high school. And I always felt like whenever you ask, well, do you want to talk about what's working and not working for high school? And I was thinking, if we talked about what's working and not working for elementary school, right when we started, we would have really said some stuff we shouldn't have said on the internet. So I've been nervous, but I think it was good, because we know we don't know it all for high school. We at least know enough to know that.
Yeah.
Whereas before we thought we knew it all.
We really thought we knew it all. We had it all together. We had patted ourselves on the back. We were pretty awesome. But yeah, parenting teens has been a whole different ballgame. So, all right, friend. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode and enjoyed Davonne and I catching up on our homeschool days. So if you enjoyed it, send me a message, misty@joyinthejourney.net, and I might invite Davonne back on. And if you don't email me, then I won't invite her back on ever. I feel like that
was fun, guys.
And be sure to follow Davonne on Instagram, where she shares little snippets and encouragement about parenting big kids. So we will chat with you all later, guys. Have a great and wonderful day.
Bye guys.
This has been an episode of the Joyfully Homeschooling Podcast. I thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please take the time to leave a rating or review on iTunes or whatever platform it is that you use to listen to this podcast. That tells the powers to be I'm not talking to myself. Also, hit subscribe. Then you will catch every episode of the Joyfully Homeschooling Podcast each week right there in your podcast feed. You can find show notes and more at joyfullyhomeschooling.com and clicking on the episode number of the episode you are looking for. Thanks, guys. I hope this podcast encouraged you to head out there and have a more joyful homeschool.